Hey, this morning I'm going to be making some apple pie using the Granny Smith little green apples here. And my favorite kitchen gadget, I believe, is this thing right here. The triple action apple machine. It peels and cores the apple all in, just by turning a handle. It feeds it into a blade, and it's really cool to watch. And it's really fun and enjoyable. And it makes making apple pies a lot of fun. And when my kids were little, we used to do that, and I still like making the apple pies. It's my wife doesn't enjoy the machine very much, but that's okay, I do. And you just have to watch out because it's so much fun to do it, and it's so easy. You can actually prepare too many apples before you know it because it happens so fast. Especially if you turn your back and the kids are sitting there cranking apples through the machine, you might end up with more pies than you intended to make. So I'll get started on it and show you how it works. Well, that's the apple machine right here. And I'm going to zoom in and let you see how it works. I'll load an apple in there. You load it right into the prong there. And I usually push the lever down and push it up till it contacts the blade here. And then you just start spinning the handle. And what you want to do is feed it all the way through because it's actually coring the apple. And at that point, you can just lift it right off of there, and you end up with this pretty cool apple part. And so the rest of it, you just pull away. That's going to be, unfortunately, that goes in the compost or something. And you just keep doing it. And there you go. I'll show you another angle in case you're not able to see it from my hands in the way. So here's a different alternate angle. You can see how this thing works. I've never had to make any adjustments to it, just clean it. Pretty cool. I love it. And so when you just pull the core off there. So this is the blade here. It's like a looped blade. And this is a spring release that fits into this thread here. And I just push the handle down and push it up so it's almost touching the blade, and then it quickly advances. And also there is another blade. It's the coring blade. It's a circular blade right here. This thing is genius. I don't know who came up with this thing, but it's they must have had the job of making peeling and coring apples. Because I don't know how long ago it was invented, but I'll look into it, I guess. But it's really cool, and it's fast. I mean, I can't even imagine, and it's easy. I can't imagine how you could make it any easier, unless you had some kind of hopper and you were dropping them in some electric machine that did it. But this thing is super easy. And then, so I've got the apples cored and everything. Now I'm gonna wash this machine. Just put it in. It's got a vacuum suction cup on it that sticks really well to the surface here. It also comes with a C-clamp. You can pull that out and put a clamp in there and clamp it. But it works so good on this surface here. I've never had to do anything with the C-clamp. So I just put a little soap on this thing and rinse it off. And it's important to let it air dry, and make sure it's totally dry. There's also a blade guard that goes here that protects these little prongs. I put that on, but you don't want to do it until it's completely dry. And then also, the handle just unscrews for storage. You just hold the 3 prongs and unscrew it, and the handle will unthread. And so I just set it there to dry, and later in the day I will box it back up. And I just get rid of that, and that goes in the compost. Now I'm going to cut these apples up and prepare them for the pie. So what I have to do now with the apples is get rid of the remainder of the skin here. And I like to chop them up kind of fine. I leave a little of the green in there. It's not going to hurt anything. You know, the skin. Otherwise, it's kind of wasteful. I get, you know, like here's one I forgot to pull the core out. That would not be good in the pie, I don't believe. I think my dog likes eating this stuff, but I read it was not good for him. So I put it out there, and I think the squirrels and the deer find it pretty quickly. So now I'm just going to cut these up and put them in here. Actually, I'm not going to put them in there yet. I'm just cutting them up. I'm going to squirt some lemon juice. This time I'm using on the apples. I'm got a lemon that's already been cut open. Normally I would use lime or lemon, but I've got the lime that's cut open. So I'm going to be experimenting with the lime today and see what that difference might be. Usually do something different every time I'm making something for some reason. It always seems to turn out okay. I got a little bit of lime here. Just going to squirt some juice on it. I like putting apples in, or raisins in my apple pie, but my wife hates it, so I'll leave that out. So now I want to mix up the flour and the sugar. It'll be a 1/4 cup of sugar for So get the apples cut up, and now I'm going to mix it together and get ready to make the pie filling here. So it takes 1/2 cup of flour. I think that's a 1/4 cup. Actually, a 1/4 cup is what it takes, so good to go on the flour. And then the recipe calls for 3/4 cup of sugar. I usually don't put all that much sugar in it. I'm going to just use a 1/2 cup and not 3/4. Cutting down on the sugar a little bit. It's plenty sweet. Not even a 1/2 cup. I'm going to go a little under that. And a little bit of butter in there. Actually, I think I'm going to add the butter later. I got my pie crust sitting here thawing out and warming up outside of the stove. So I'm going to go ahead and mix the apples in there. Smells pretty good already. Then I got some cinnamon and a little bit of nutmeg I'm going to pop in there. Not much, just a little bit. I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of that nutmeg in there. I think a little bit of that goes a long way. Same with the cinnamon. I don't like it overly spiced up. I think just the taste of the apples is pretty good without all that stuff added to it. I am going to put a little bump of vanilla in there. Never done that before, but I'm going to see what that does today. Smells good, I'll tell you that. All right, now I'm going to prepare the pie crust. So now I've got this, I'm just going with a simple pie pan. My wife has a bunch of fancy ones, but I'm afraid to use them, so I'm going to use this simple one. And it's 9" because it says so right there. Otherwise I wouldn't really know if I measured it. And these are the frozen pie crust. They are I think these are the off-brand. I was hoping to get, you know, whatever. Can't remember the brand, Betty Crocker or Pillsbury, I believe that's what it is. But these are Harris Teeter. They were sold out of the good ones. I don't know what the difference is, but I'm sure there's a difference because when you go in the store, the other ones are, the good ones are always sold out, and these are the only ones you can find around the holidays, you know. So I drop that in there and make sure it drops in and conforms to the pan well. And I remembered the butter comes later. First you put in the filling. So apple pies are pretty easy to make. And I enjoy them, especially, they're pretty good for breakfast too. You can heat up a piece of that. So there's the pie crust and the filling. And I'm just going to open another one of these pie crust things. Been sitting, my stove has been on, so it's ready to go in the oven. Actually, my stove never shuts off, so it's always ready when I am. And it's pretty handy for when you want to thaw stuff out or when you're cooking. It's just always there, ready to go. So this one's going to go on top. And I'm going to try to splice them together, fold it over and round it over and push it down in there to seal it. I think my wife usually has some kind of ornamental bird that she sits in the middle and it vents the pie through its beak or something like that. I'm not at that level of fine baking or pie making, so I'm just going to punch it with the knife and make a couple holes. And I guess my pie might looks a little rugged. Maybe I'm a little heavy-handed, but they always turn out good. You know, you can't go wrong. You basically just putting the pie in this enclosure of the pie crust, the filling, and baking it, and hard to go wrong. You know, as long as you got the ingredients somewhere in the ballpark. I have gone. I'll tell you, if you try to put too much spice in it or sugar or anything like that, it easily overpowers it. And so I've learned just to be minimal on the pie. So I'm venting it that way. And now I'm going to put in the butter, like they say, where you just put little dots of it on the top here. My butter's gotten soft, so that could be a problem. Not critical, I'm sure it's going to work either way. I guess maybe the butter's going to make it golden brown. So there it is. I'm going to put this thing in the oven. I'm going to avoid, I don't want a real thin piece of the dough. It would just like burn. So happy with that. I think that's going to be good. Okay, the pie's been in the oven about 40 minutes or so. I'm going to pull it out and check it out, see if it's ready. Yeah, I would say that is ready. It's bubbling up through the top there. A little dark there on the spot there, but I think that's fine. I'll set it over here to cool. That oven's running around 450. And there it is. Beautiful Granny Smith's apple pie. So if you want to avoid having that darkened crust there, they do have this. This is a silicone protector you can put on there to keep the. Looks like it's got a section missing, but you can put that on there and protect the crust. But I kind of like that flavor that it brings, so I don't do that. But maybe on a different oven it might be more important. But the August is kind of gentle about cooking, and this little bit of darkening is fine with me. I kind of enjoy the contrast of the flavors. Yeah, I think you can also use you can cover this with aluminum foil, and I think they say to peel that away at the last 15 minutes of baking, but I think it's fine just the way it is.